to make it okay for people to bring that purpose to work with them, to craft their jobs, and to design their environment so that their purpose amplifies the effectiveness of what they do.
Hey, welcome back all, Strategic Selling Group and all my other readers. Thank you for joining us again. I've got Ian Lowe with me.
Hello.
Ian, last few discussions we've had, we've talked about purpose and how organisations build a culture of purpose and get their people embraced in that and so on. Let's talk about individuals a little bit. As individuals, I come across a lot of organisations and work with a lot of sales forces and so on, and you do see people with strong purpose that's related to the purpose of the organisation and a really strong intent on the customer. Mm-hmm. But I find that's almost only 1 in 3 or 1 in 4. How do you assess whether people have got a purpose, and what are the sort of things that do drive people other than purpose?
Well, there's some interesting data coming out of the work that Aaron Hurst and his co-founder Arthur Woods are doing with LinkedIn, and a global research study into purpose and the drivers of purpose. And what's emerging there are 3 groups.
Three groups of individuals?
Yeah, 3 groups, yeah. And there are people who are driven more about, from a work point of view, more driven by status.
Yeah, okay.
It's the position, it's an ego thing. Not that that's necessarily a bad thing.
That's what drives a lot of the politics in organisations.
It certainly can do. But that's what really lights their fire, and that's what work is all about for those individuals.
Okay.
There's another group that are more. It's more a means to an end. Work is about, I've got bills to pay, I've got stuff I need to do, I need to have a job so I can pay my bills and do the stuff I want to do.
Work's about getting an income. For another purpose independent of work?
Yeah, they might have a purpose that they apply and they follow and they're passionate about outside of work. But work is something that produces the means and the resources they need to follow that purpose.
Okay.
And then there was this other group, this final third, who are purpose-driven people who see work as being about having an impact, as being intrinsic to them having an impact on the world and influencing change in however they determine that.
So they see work as an integral part of their life and an integral part of helping them drive their own purpose.
Yeah, it's central to it. And okay. I think that the challenge we face is to try and create more of those people. How do we get more of those other people who are more status oriented or more means to an end oriented? How do we get more of those people to be purpose oriented?
So a person that's driven by status or a person that's driven by income and haven't got an innate purpose that's aligned to the business that they're working in. How can you change people with that status drive or that income drive to have a purpose? Because I thought that would be an innate thing that's in people.
Yeah, I think we all have a purpose. It's not something that's exclusive to certain people who are in certain types of roles. You don't find more purpose-driven people in the not-for-profit sector, for example, or in the healthcare sector. Everybody has a purpose that drives them. The challenge is to help organizations to make it okay for people to bring that purpose to work with them, to craft their jobs and to design their environment so that their purpose amplifies the effectiveness of what they do.
But I'm a little confused here. Somebody with driven by status, isn't that a purpose? I want to grow my status. I want to really satisfy my ego. That's a purpose, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, sure, it is from a certain point of view.
It's a very selfish purpose.
Yeah, it's very sort of, it's about me.
So you're talking about purposes and not about me. It's going back to the intent discussions that it's a purpose that's focused on others, it's focused on customers.
Absolutely. I think that's really a key element of purpose, that it's amplified by others.
So taking a person that's really driven by status and then trying to change them to be driven by a purpose for others, an intent for others, that sounds like a very difficult change.
Well, it certainly is. I mean, it's challenging, right? It's going to be something that's going to evolve as we get more research, as we get more data, as we get more skilled and we get more tools, helping to shift those people to being more purpose-oriented is going to be easier over time. It's kind of like the same challenge we face when we find disengaged people at work, shift them to be more engaged. It's steps, there are changes, there are things that need to happen.
Things like what?
Things like helping them to firstly connect with their purpose and understand what really drives them. The tools are there.
So understanding themselves better.
Understanding yourself better. And then I think a lot of the time in workplaces, there's a sort of a cookie-cutter approach. People are directed to do things in certain ways, especially in sales, where people go through the same sales training. They're taught the same sales skills. They're given the same sales scripts. Do things this way. Follow this thing. Ask this question this way. Whereas if you're helping people to connect with their purpose and saying that we want you to come to work and be the best you are every single day, people need to do things differently. People need to do things that help them to express themselves.
So you're talking about empowering people.
Empowering people, which again challenges the status quo of the typical command and control paradigm of many organizations. So this is why this is going to change over time.
So I'm hearing between the lines here that the command and control organizations will have a lot of trouble driving a purpose that other people can embrace with if they're being told what to do.
Exactly right. They contradict each other, right? You say, I want you to be empowered and be purpose-driven.
But follow this process.
But do it as I tell you to.
And this is the purpose you're going to have to drive towards, right?
Yeah.
Whether you like it or not.
Yeah.
Okay. So it really is a major cultural change. Again, it's back to this transformation of organisations and how we can drive a culture which is purpose-driven, which is empowering of people and so on. That's really what you're saying.
Absolutely, yeah.
And so back to the one-third, one-third, one-third. A good start is like our earlier discussion, hire the right people with the right engaged purpose.
Hire people on purpose to start with.
But if you've already got them on board where they're driven by status or driven by income, then you need to help them understand themselves better, help them develop a really good understanding of their external purpose, right? Their intent for others, and then embrace and engage that within the corporate purpose.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Okay. Really interesting subject. Massive challenge for a lot of organisations, particularly the old command control organisations. I'd like to come back and we'll talk more about, for an individual's point of view, how can they develop their purpose independent of the enterprise they're working with.
Okay.
Or within, but develop that as a skill and capability.
That'd be great, John.